In the bold and the beautiful, anticipation is often more dangerous than scandal itself, and nowhere was that more evident than in the days leading up to the launch of Logan's first collection. For Katie Logan Spencer, the upcoming showcase was not merely a professional milestone, it was a reckoning. Every sketch, every fabric choice, every seam carried years of being underestimated, years of standing in the shadow of louder voices and stronger personalities. Logan's first collection was her declaration of independence, proof that the Logan name could command respect without leaning on Forrester Creations or borrowing legitimacy from anyone else. Yet the closer the launch date crept, the heavier the air became, especially between Katie and Brooke Logan Forrester. Brooke's discomfort with the use of the Logan name was never truly about trademarks alone. It was about identity and ownership, about who had the right to define what Logan meant in the fashion world. Brooke believed the name had been earned through decades of sacrifice within Forrester Creations, through battles she had fought alongside Ridge Forrester. Katie, on the other hand, saw the name as a birthright, not a brand that needed permission. The tension between the sisters was quiet but poisonous, polite on the surface and corrosive underneath. Family dinners became exercises in restraint, every compliment tinged with suspicion, every question sounding like an accusation. On the eve of the launch, the atmosphere inside the Logan workspace was electric with nerves and fragile hope. Garment bags lined the racks like soldiers awaiting inspection. Final fittings had been completed, lighting rehearsed, press lists confirmed. Katie walked through the space long after everyone else had gone home, touching fabrics as if to reassure herself they were real. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to imagine success without apology. That fragile optimism shattered before dawn. When the team arrived the next morning, the racks were empty. Not disturbed, not damaged, not hastily looted, but meticulously cleared. Every design from Logan's first collection was gone. No broken locks. No alarms triggered. No chaos left behind. Just absence. The silence that followed the discovery was suffocating, heavier than screams could have been. Within minutes, the news spread beyond Logan Creations, reaching Forrester Creations and igniting panic across both houses. Katie's shock quickly curdled into disbelief and then into suspicion. With the wounds between her and Brooke still raw, it felt impossible not to look inward first. The timing was too precise, the execution to clean. Ridge Forrester, already stretched thin by family conflicts and corporate pressure, reached the same conclusion with brutal speed. Brooke, or someone loyal to her, had motive. The rivalry over the Logan name had escalated into open hostility. Accusations, once whispered, now surfaced openly, cutting through years of shared history like glass. Brooke was blindsided by the suspicion. Hurt turned quickly into anger as she realized how easily she had become the obvious suspect. To her, the theft was not only a professional disaster, but a personal insult. She had fought too hard for her place in the fashion world to sabotage her own sister so crudely. Yet denial did little to ease the tension. Trust, once fractured, does not heal through words alone. Ridge found himself torn, instinctively defensive of Brooke, yet unable to ignore the logic of motive. The family, already strained, began to splinter further under the weight of unanswered questions. As the initial shock gave way to action, Forrester Creations launched an internal investigation. What quickly became clear unsettled everyone involved. The disappearance bore hallmarks of a professional operation. Digital access logs wiped clean, security cameras looped seamlessly, inventory systems altered without triggering alerts. This was not an impulsive act driven by emotion. It was calculated, rehearsed, and executed by someone with deep knowledge of fashion houses, their vulnerabilities, and their rhythms. Whoever had taken the designs understood the industry intimately. As investigators dug deeper, the narrative began to shift. Subtle inconsistencies emerged that did not align with Brooke's behavior or access. The methods used suggested resources and technical expertise beyond the reach of any single family member acting alone. Quietly, reluctantly, attention turned outward. Competitors, investors, former allies. The fashion world is small, but its grudges are vast and long-lived. The situation escalated when rumors leaked to the market. Whispers of stolen designs, internal sabotage, and family warfare spread faster than facts. Buyers hesitated. Press outlets circled hungrily. Both Logan Creations and Forrester Creations faced reputational damage, their stability questioned at the very moment they could least afford it. Stockholders demanded answers. Partners threatened to pull support. The scandal, once contained within a private space, became public spectacle. Amid the chaos, a name surfaced from the past, one that carried both familiarity and dread. A former creative director, quietly dismissed years earlier during a restructuring led by Ridge, reemerged through a trail of shell companies and discreet financial movements. This individual, once celebrated and later discarded without ceremony, had vanished from the industry's spotlight, but not from its undercurrents. The theft of Logan's first collection was not merely an act of sabotage, it was a declaration of revenge. As Ridge and Brooke followed the trail together, necessity forced cooperation. Old resentments were set aside in favor of clarity. They uncovered a web of manipulation tied to personal grievance and professional humiliation. The mastermind had used Katie's fledgling brand as the perfect pressure point, knowing its success would destabilize Forrester Creations, while also exploiting the Logan family's internal fractures. The plan was elegant in its cruelty: steal the designs, leak the chaos, and watch two powerful houses tear themselves apart while the real culprit remained hidden. The confrontation, when it finally came, was less explosive than devastating. The truth spilled out in a sterile office far removed from runways and glamour. The antagonist spoke not with rage, but with cold satisfaction, recounting years of being overlooked, erased, and dismissed in the name of progress. Fashion, they argued, had become a machine that chewed up creativity and discarded its architects. This was not about money alone. It was about recognition and vengeance, about forcing those in power to feel the same dispossession they once inflicted. The aftermath reshaped everything. The stolen designs were recovered too late to salvage the original launch, but enough truth emerged to prevent total ruin. Power dynamics within Forrester Creations shifted as Ridge confronted the consequences of past decisions made without compassion. Brooke reevaluated her understanding of loyalty and legacy. Katie, though wounded, emerged with a sharper resolve, her vision tested but not destroyed. The Logan name survived, but the family would never return to what it had been before. In the end, Logan's first collection became something more than a line of clothing. It became a symbol of how ambition, resentment, and unresolved history can converge into catastrophe. And within the bold and the beautiful, the lesson lingered with bitter clarity. In a world built on beauty and innovation, the most dangerous designs are not stitched in fabric, but woven from memory, pride, and revenge.